Hello, and thank you for joining me here on our live streaming on Friday afternoon, the 15th of June in South Africa. Now, I'm quite surprised to be here because I wasn't expecting to be. I thought we'd be on the road today, but we're not. And so here I am. I'm quite thrilled that I can actually be here and doing this live streaming with you rather than missing it. And today I've got a few things that I'd like to talk to you about. So thank you for joining me. And also, I want to, before I dive into the few things, let me just quickly run through the few things I'm going to talk about. Strangely enough, I'm going to talk about tea. I also want to talk about Zach over here. And I also want to talk about children under the age of formal learning entry, like under the age of 6, let's say, or 5, somewhere around there. Little babies and toddlers. I'd like to talk to you about them and how it all works with Oikos and how do they fit into the Oikos lifestyle when they're little, if we don't have actual formal resources for them, and so on. And also, I'd like to actually share a couple of quotes with you because I just stumbled upon these this week and I said, if next time I get to live stream, I must share this with people. So this is the first quote. It says, "The difference between school and life. In school, you're taught a lesson and given a test. In life, you're given a test that teaches a lesson." And I really enjoyed that because I thought that depicts what Oikos is about. It's about life and learning lessons through the learning lifestyle rather than school at home. So I quite enjoyed that quote and I thought I must share it with you. And then I'm going to share the next one with you. And that is, the best teachers are those who show you where to look but don't tell you what to see. And that again depicts the Oikos lifestyle nicely for us because that's what we hope you'll be doing if you are Oikos and you're walking and living the Oikos lifestyle. We hope that you're going to be getting involved in the learning lifestyle living, as in not thinking that you need to be teacher and put on your school cap and take out the ruler. Rather, just enjoy life with your children, and that's what I'll be talking more about when it comes to the little ones. But I said that I was going to start with Zach and tea. So let's start with Zach. Zach over here, you'll see him in our live streaming sessions. He's there for a reason, and that is he's like our little mascot, if you can call him that. I haven't actually even looked up what mascot means. I think that'd be an interesting one. But basically, Zach goes with us around when we travel because he's a constant reminder to us that Oikos likes to be a ministry of no compromise as best as we can. I know we are human and we do fail, but we try and keep that black and white very clear and not get into the muddy grey zone. That's what we aim for. And so our Zach here is our zebra to remind us of that. And also you'll see the painting behind me over there that my friend Julia painted for me. And so that again is a reminder to us about the importance of the non-compromise walk that we aim for. And we try to help you, the parents or whoever's watching this, to be reminded of that and to walk that as well. And then just on a last note with the zebra theme is we actually do have zebras here where we live because we live on a private nature reserve here in South Africa. So if we've got any people outside of South Africa watching this live stream, you might be smiling at the fact that we say zebra here in South Africa, not zebra, I think is what I have heard others, how they pronounce the word zebra. But this is Zach, our zebra, and that is why he's there, and I hope that he'll always make his way into these live streamings or into a lot of our videos that we do, our productions or whatever. We try and keep this black and white theme. I'm thinking about something else now, and that is a call to hear. That's a series on our website, on the Oikos website, under videos, courses. Jamie, can you put the link in there for that? And if you can also, call to hear, if you can also please for me, send me this Facebook link thing, because I haven't got it open, so I can't actually see who's out there and who's joining us and talking to us. If you are just there, I'm hoping you are, that we've got some people visiting us here on live streaming today. Okay, so the Call to Hear series, you'll see we've kept it as a black and white theme because basically we try and keep in the Call to Hear series things of great importance, as in I try and speak with people that have walked this journey and have got pearls of wisdom for us. And I also did at the beginning of this year, I did our founding scriptures, or Oikos founding scriptures. We did a little video clip of those, and those are on a quarter here. So if anybody who's watching this would like to know the foundation of Oikos and our founding scripture being, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the rest will be added to you. And I can be talking to you more about that a little bit later on. But if you've got time after this live stream, it would be good if you could perhaps go and watch some of those quarter here, because we put them there for you to share with you the pearls of others. And I hope that those founding scriptures will also be a reminder to you as to keeping on the straight and narrow. And if you come across a boulder or a mountain, know that God is there to move it out of your way for you so you can continue on the straight and narrow. And that's why we keep Zach here to remind you. No compromise. Let's just be black and white people of no compromise. So that's my little story about Zach joining us here at our live streaming. Now I want to move on to the tea. You might have gathered by now that tea is terribly important to us here, us South Africans. And in South Africa, we have a very special, unique tea, which is grown here, only here, in the Western Province. It's grown from a bush that is indigenous called fynbos, which is translated would just be fynbush, I'm guessing. And this tea is called Rooibos, and Rooibos translated to English is red bush. Rooi meaning red in Afrikaans. So this Rooibos tea, this is what I've got to drink today, to share with you today, is Rooibos. Now, you don't have to put anything with Rooibos tea. You can just have it black. It's a very sweet tea, so you don't actually have to add anything. But obviously, natural honey is lovely because it's got all sorts of natural good properties, health properties in it. But let me tell you, Rooibos tea, you would be surprised if you don't know this already. It is very high in vitamin C, and it's a good antioxidant, and it's just a really healthy drink to have. It doesn't have any caffeine in it. And we are very pleased, us South Africans, that we grow this tea here. However, I have heard that it's available all over the world now, which is wonderful. I remember when we went to the States a few years back, I was missing my Rooibos because I like a cup of black Rooibos fairly routinely. And there wasn't any in the States. I didn't know what I was talking about when I said Rooibos. And I think they call Rooibos. I think they call it red bush there, or they call it bush tea. I'm not sure. Maybe if somebody in the States knows about this Rooibos tea and they know what it's called, they can let me know. But I'm just telling you a whole lot about Rooibos tea now because of the fact that it's a really, really good tea to have. I mean, you can go and do the research on it, and let me tell you, you may discover things that you didn't even know about Rooibos tea. One is that it's good for losing weight. I'm sure people would like to hear that, and I've been told that if you have Rooibos tea in place of your usual hot beverage, you will find that it'll help you to lose weight. But that could be because maybe if you're having regular tea with 3 sugars, that's actually what's causing the weight problem. But anyway, we're not here today to talk about weight and weight loss, although this Rooibos tea does help with that. We are here to talk about something that has come up in the questions in the last little while, and very specifically, last live streaming. Unanza. Unanza is in Mpumalanga in South Africa. That's the name of the province that she comes from, or she lives in. She was with us last week on live streaming, and she asked specifically if I could address this topic of the younger children with regard to Oikos and the Oikos lifestyle. And it's something that she deals with quite a bit. And Unanza's home educated her sons, who are now men. And so she helps a lot of people with home education, and she shares the vision and the lifestyle with them. She said, this is a question that comes up a lot. And then I got the question, she asked that, and then I got it again. I'm just seeing if it's here. I think I put it onto the Facebook stream. Did you send me that, Jamie, that Facebook link? Oh, yes, you did. Okay, let me open that. Give me a moment while I just get this open here. And I will see what is happening with today's. Shirley's there. Yay. Happy you can be with us this time, Shirley. Really appreciate Julie being there, because she again has home educated with Oikos for many years, and her daughters are now women, like you nuns' sons are now men. So these are women that have walked the walk. Okay, I'm just going to go to this question that I think I posted here. Yes, here it is. It says, what resources do I use for my children who are not yet at the formal school age? I have 3 children under the age of 5 and would like to know what Oikos offers for children in this age bracket. So this is the first question I'm going to be dealing with here today. So I think I'm going to answer this a little differently to perhaps what you are used to hearing. Now, I'm being a bit presumptuous here and thinking that maybe you've been hearing that the junior years, from birth to school readiness or time to start teaching them to read, are vital for a whole number of reasons. Maybe you've heard that they need to get their fine motor skills developed, and they need to have all this pre-learning to read and write established in them, whatever all those skills are. But so I'm going to come to this, I'm going to answer this question from a different point, different angle. And it's the one that we have to this is how we have to answer this question here at Oikos. Because you see, you will see on the website, that on the Oikos website, that we don't actually have lots and lots of resources for little children, for little toddlers and children between birth and 5 years. Let's call it up to 5, because I know from 6 people think this is suddenly the age that everybody's got to start learning to read. But you have one child that will be learning to read much earlier than that, and another one much, much later than that. So I don't put an age on when they are ready for formal studies or formal learning or formal lessons. I rather put it on when the child is ready, and that becomes quite evident, because when a little child starts following you around and asking you how to read things and what does that letter say and what does that word mean, then you know that they're starting to show an interest in these letters and words, and the time is coming where it is time for you to maybe start looking at a resource that's going to assist you, the parent, to help teach your child to read. And of course, you might or might not know, so I shouldn't say of course, but you might or might not know that we do have the Learning Language Arts Through Literature Blue Book on our website, which is basically taking the child right from the very beginning, presuming they don't know the alphabet, and you take them from that point to teaching them to read, and then it just moves on from there to learn reading fluency, and then it introduces grammar and so on. But let's go back to below that age, before they're ready to read. And you might have some older children or some little ones as well as older ones, and you're doing some formal lessons with older children, and you've got these little toddlers. Or maybe like this question, like this mom asked, she's got 3 children under the age of 5. So what to do? Well, the reason why Oikos doesn't actually have on our website an actual curriculum for toddlers, or a curriculum or formal resources for little children, is because, oh, just heard a crash bang. What is that? Oh, okay, there's monkeys on the roof, and they're making quite a racket. Felt like the roof was falling down. So, somewhat of a distraction. You've got monkeys jumping on the roof. But anyway, I don't know if the people heard that. Maybe they didn't. So, back to the question at hand, the toddlers. You see, what we would like to encourage you to do as the parent is to really engage with your children and have time with them and play with them, because I've got a picture to show you. If we here at Oikos were providing you with resources, tools, things to do with your toddler, actual books or a program, then what we'd be doing is we'd be giving you some formal thing to then start doing, as in on Monday you do this and on Tuesday you do that. And we don't really want to do that to you, because of the fact that later on, when your children are from the learning to read and starting to introduce the formal programs from there on, I'm quite distracted with these monkeys because they're jumping. Don't you want to run outside and chase the monkeys away? Because that's quite a distraction. They're making such a noise on this roof. It feels like it's falling down. So if you are, Jamie's gone off now. I hope everything just keeps running without his assistant on the other side of the camera there. if you are just playing with your children and you're not having to follow a program, to me, that is supporting you in a way that's helping you to have the, oh my goodness. It sounds like a whole troop of monkeys up there. Anyway, if you can just play with your children rather than us giving you a formal program to work through, I just think that is supportive of you and of your children, because later on, when you are needing to sit down and teach your child maths and language and do more formal lessons, that is for many, many years that you're going to be doing that. So the way we see it is these informative, these early years are time for you just to absolutely grab every moment you can with your children, to do things with them, take them to the park, play with them on the carpet, on the floor, make Play-Doh, do any kind of hands-on. I'm doing this with my hand because I'm trying to grab from my head some hands-on playing things. You can get some educational toys. You can get some early years puzzles, building blocks. All those kinds of educational toys are great. And we've got some educational games on the website, but I don't think we've got for as young as a toddler, maybe from about 4 onwards. When I say toddler, I'm meaning like 2-year-olds early, just starting to walk. That's what I'm putting into the bracket of toddler. But if we just think about it, these little children under the age of 5, if we ask the Lord for a moment to look at our day and look at our picture and check with him what he would prefer, whether he would prefer us to be sitting down doing a lesson to make sure that we seeing to it that they're getting their fine motor skills developed, or whether he wants us to, whether the Lord wants to see us sitting doing that, or whether he wants to see us having a lot of joy and fun and just playing with these children. Because let me just tell you something, when you are just playing with your children and playing with Play-Doh, that came to mind, so let me use that as an example. You are actually teaching fine motor skills. You are all the time as a parent, when you're just involved and engaged with your children, they are learning and you are teaching them without realizing all the skills you're teaching them. I mean, if you just cast your mind back a couple of generations, not even that far back, we didn't have all the science or the psychology or whatever explaining to us as parents why we needed to fulfill all these functions to make sure that our children are ready for their formal learning later on. What we did, though, is we were involved in playing with our children. That's the picture I see of a few generations back, where I'm not throwing out the value of understanding all of that. It's fine if you as a parent study and you hear from others and they explain to you why these things are important. But what we want to caution you from is not finding programs that you now need to have to follow, when actually, if you just follow your natural leading, your instinctive natural leading and God's directing, you are going to be covering all those areas. Because when your children are sitting playing in the sandpit, they're covering those areas. When you sit them in a bucket of water and a jug and a cup and they spend ages playing in a water basin, I mean, you'll know, you've got little children, those that have little children that are watching, you'll know how many hours a child can spend with playing with water. And just think of all the learning that is happening there. There's no program. You didn't have a program that told you today you must play with water with your child. When you're bathing your child, or you've got a couple of children, that mom that wrote the letter that's got the question, that's got 3 children under the age of 5. I'm sure that just bath time is playtime and playtime is learning time. So I'm thinking of a time now when we went to the grandparents and our little guy, Jamie, who's been running outside chasing monkeys. The monkeys are gone now, Jamie, thanks. When he was just a little toddler, tiny little toddler, we went to the grandparents and he was crawling around and grabbing things that he wasn't supposed to be grabbing. So I thought, okay, this is getting to the point where we need to redirect this toddler's attention. So we went outside and we turned a little garden tap on. When I say little, I mean it was low down and he was little. So we turned this garden tap on and gave him a plastic jug and a bucket And he spent so long at this tap. Now, I'm just as I'm saying that thinking, oh my goodness, this isn't a good thing to be saying to those in the Western Cape, because there's been huge water restrictions, and you wouldn't be able to turn a garden tap on and let it run and let your child play. In fact, the Western Cape, they can't even run baths. They've just, it's quick showers, chip, chip, quick in and out, and big water restrictions. So water is not a good topic to be talking about at this sensitive time of water shortage. But you can make Play-Doh. You can, the children can play in the sandpit. You can do educational games, toys, like what I've suggested. So this all, to wrap it all up, is to say that Oikos intentionally doesn't provide you with a program to follow for your toddlers or your young children. The resource that we have to offer you is you, the parent. You are the resource for your children. You follow your heart. You check with the Lord what picture He likes to see, whether He wants you to be all stressed and concerned about making sure that they're getting all what they need, or trust Him and think about His picture on that, and think about how He created them. And when they're playing, they're learning. That's what's happening. So I'm reminding you, play equals learning. And so a lot is happening while you are playing with your children. Okay, so now I'm just going to pause again and have a look here, because there's some people visiting us here at live streaming. Thank you for joining me, ladies. I really appreciate you being there. It's wonderful. And this one lady says she can't hear anything. Would that mean, hold on a second. Oh, Jamie's saying it was actually not the audio. It is actually the monkeys that you couldn't hear. Oh, there's Lopka's. There's two. Lopka, are you the same Lopka that did the interview with us on here at our Oikos studio? If you are, please confirm that, because this is an unusual name. We don't see very many Lopkas around, and I think you might be the lady who we did the interview with, the mom. And if you are, then I can tell everybody they can go and watch your interview that's on the website under videos, testimonies, I think. Jamie will put a link there for us. All right. Let me read some of these. Oh, thank you for that. This one, Mom, Maritza, is saying that she actually misses the times that she used to sit in the mud and play with her children. Thank you for that, because you know what I was thinking when I read that question from the mom about her younger children? I thought how those years fly by, and you have so many years of but there are so many years ahead where you are sitting down doing formal lessons with your children, and those years have gone, and they go so fast, the little years. So that's why I want to encourage moms who do have little ones to just let the day be and just enjoy those children in that day, because you don't have to be putting yourself under a whole lot of pressure to do a program or to make sure they're getting all the skills they need, because when you're playing with them, they will be. And before you know it, they're going to be married. It just flies by so quickly. There are so many years of learning ahead. That's just what I said, and Shirley's just confirming it. There's no need for formal curriculum for younger children between 3 and 5. Thank you, Shirley. There is somebody confirming what I have been sharing. Children learn from the world around them and experience at that age. I used to make sure that we were outside a lot. Yes, that is so important, if we can be, if the weather's good. And worked in seasonal themes of fun things to do, baked together, also limited screen time. It's just about nothing. You know what, Shirley, this is a good point you make, and that is, when I'm out and about there and I see little children completely disengaged with what's happening around them, and all they've got is the screen that they're looking at, either a little tablet or a phone, I do just wonder, why does such a young person need to be engaged on that screen when there's so much around them to be learning about? And in fact, we had somebody tell us a couple of months ago a very interesting fact, and I haven't spent time taking this study further, but I really want to at some point. And that is, he said to us that children that are raised in limited environment, whereby they don't have much exposure, let's use an apartment block for an example, and they don't get out into the country. So they live in an apartment block. Across from the street from them is another apartment block, and that's what they see. And they go from that apartment block down a few blocks to another place where they go for learning, to school or whatever it might be. He was explaining to us that the children that don't see far, literally, like they have a big outlook, their eyes can stretch and they can see beyond, across the street and the other wall. Those children have limited skills when they have grown into adult life, and they have to actually be trained in certain skills. Now, as I said, I haven't studied what skills we're talking about here and what's lacking, but it did make me think, wow, are we even appreciating and value the gift of living in the country and being South African and having the magnificent views around us, open spaces. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of the monkeys running on our roof. What is a nuisance to us, because a lot of monkeys bashing on our roof while we're trying to do live streaming, actually is a gift, you see. So we can see it as a nuisance. But on the other hand, Jamie's been running outside chasing monkeys, and I'm not maybe fully aware of the value of that, of the value of what just that exposure is helping us in as far as our abilities and growing and being appreciative to the Lord for his creation and what he has actually created for us. So thank you, Shirley, for your input here and about reminding me about screen time, and that there's so much more to offer, and we should actually be making a point of our little children being exposed to those things rather than being tempted to put them in front of the TV set where they can watch a program that'll keep them entertained. Far better to go outside and play with them. All right. Oh, it is Lopka. Lopka, that is you. Okay, Lopka, thank you for confirming. If you want to go and see Lopka's testimony, I suggest you do. She had a lovely testimony to share with us. Jamie, Jamie's put the link there. For those of you who have joined me here today, you can go and watch Lopka's testimony later if you can. Oh, Shirley was saying they made a point of going outside regardless of the weather. They would just get on their good waterproof gear and go jump in puddles. Oh, Shirley, I got to share this little story with you. There was a lady here that was helping at Oikos for a while, and she said to us that they found the potholes on the road quite a bother, I suppose, nuisance. I don't know what. It was a negative thing. All the potholes on our gravel roads, until her little grandchildren came to visit, and the one grandchild, I think must have been 3 or 4. They go for a walk, and this one particular grandchild wanted to jump in every puddle and came back filthy and found that the potholes were the best thing because she could jump in the puddles. And I was just thinking of that when Jamie and I went for a walk the other day, and I was doing the same, stepping in all the potholes. And I just thought that is just fun, I mean, we were just having fun. And this little girl helped her grandparents, the little toddler grandchild, helped her grandparents see the potholes as something fun rather than it being a negative association with that. Okay, so now I'm going to see what other questions have come that I have to answer. I have questions to get to here. I do hope that before I just completely move off this young age bracket, I just hope that the parents that do have little children really, really will be encouraged to just enjoy this season, because as the moms that are on live streaming here have confirmed, it passes by quickly, and we really, really should just embrace the time and not feel the pressure of the world and the stresses of the expectancy of all what we hear about what we're supposed to be doing. I just feel for those parents that are of feeling that sense of responsibility and weight of thinking, oh, but what if I don't do this and this? Then I'm not giving my child what my child needs to have to be ready to read, for example. And what I'm saying to you is thousands of children learn to read without having to go through all these programs when they were 2 or 3, just simply by playing and just being part of life. And like Shirley was confirming there, that you don't need a curriculum for those children of that age. You are their resource. And this, the Word of God, is your other resource. All you need is His Word. I remember when our children were very little, I would just read to them from the toddler Bible every day, and then we would dramatise those stories. We would put them into a little play or you might think, oh, but I'm not creative, I don't know how to do that. But that's okay, because God is creative. He can give you the inspiration. You ask Him for help. He says, call on me, and I will be there, because He is with you at all times, but you must call on Him for help, and He will help you. So I just really I'm hoping that you'll be convicted to not run out and spend lots and lots and lots of money on tools and resources and curriculum and programs that are just actually going to cause you a lot of stress. Let's rather suggest you use your budget carefully and get some games and toys and go on outings and go and enjoy the beach or the forest or the park, whatever it is that is available to you. Go and do those things rather. Okay. So now let me move on to the next question. As you can hear, I could stay on this one for a long time. It's very near to my heart, this playing with the little children and not getting too serious about the education aspects. Okay, here's a question. Are there any support systems in place for a mom that is struggling and needs help? Who do I contact and what do I do if I'm needing help? That is a good question. I'm hoping that you will find support systems on the Oikos website, because we have done lots and lots of videos for you where we hope that you will find help with those videos. Let me think of an example. I know what, we've got one called Top 10 Fears. So you might have fear about something, whatever it might be. You might be feeling inadequate, or you might be feeling that you're not quite convicted by what I've been saying regarding the children and think you do need some kind of guidance or some kind of program. Then you can maybe go and watch the Top 10 Fears, because maybe the fears that you are feeling are the same as many others have, and so you're not alone. And I've attended to those particular fears. I also do answer the question on more practical level regarding these little children, in saying to parents, if you really want something to guide you, well, then get a Konos manual. I suggest you start here with the Word of God, and then you can get yourself a Konos manual, because that is giving you lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of creative ideas of what to do, and you can just have some directive with Konos. And if you want to know which Konos manual and you need support in knowing that, again, we've got that on the website. You see, we've got a Konos workshop, and we've got how do I choose my Konos manual, because there's 3 and you don't know which one to choose. Like, do I go with the green, red, or yellow? And they're called 1, 2, and 3. Must I start with number 1 or what? And you don't know the answer to that. But the answer is on the website under the Konos workshop. But now you might be asking, but how do I know where to find my answer on the website? The good news is that Karen, that's our son-in-law's brother, yes, that's right, Bruce, our son-in-law, his brother, Karen, is going to be here on Monday, and he is coming with a view to constantly try improve our search finding on the website. What do you call it? SEO, search engine optimization. That's what Karen's doing. So that is going to help you, the parent, to be able to find what you're looking for, find the support. The question is, who do I contact? How do I get the support? There's a variety of ways. Okay, you can go on the website and you can put in the search field what you're looking for, and let's hope you find it. If you don't and you've got a specific need, then you can email us at help@oikosfamily.co.za, or you can go on our live chat. We've got live chat now on the homepage, and you can put a little question there anytime, and if there's somebody available on live chat at that moment, they'll answer you. And you know how they'll probably answer you? They'll probably suggest that you go here or here, because there would have been a video for that question. And please don't think that we're just pushing you to the videos. Actually, we've done the videos over these years for the purpose of being able to be more helpful, more comprehensive in our answer. So rather than spend a half an hour live streaming talking to you little bits and pieces, we've actually done an entire course on that particular topic, certification or Konos, and what is the Konos lifestyle, and how do I know which LATL book to get? That's Learning Language Arts Through Literature. There's a LATL workshop. You see, so we did these video courses for the sake of being able to help you, possibly if you are struggling, that like this question is, how can I get help if I'm struggling? Next question. After I've done the placement test for my child, there you go. Would I need to purchase all the readers that are shown on the website in order for that program to work? Well, the answer for that question is yes, you need all the readers. However, the question is, do you need them all? Yes, you need them all. But you know what we did? We put them in the order in which they appear in the program. So let's say you bought Yellow LATL and there's 4 readers. The first reader listed after this, there'll be the parent book, the student book, and then there'll be the 4 readers. The first reader shown is the first reader that's going to come up in the lessons in that book, in the student book. And then the second reader will be the second reader that comes up in the lessons. So it'll be like a quarter of the way through the book. It'll be the next book that will come along. The readers sometimes start at the very beginning. I'm thinking of the example of, is it Orange Book? Where the very first lesson requires the child to having read the entire book. Well, now the parents go, well, what must I do? Put the student book aside and wait for them to finish reading the whole novel, because now maybe they're a slow reader. And so the answer to that question is no, you just, that first lesson is actually a book study on that book. So you can start with lesson 1 as such, because at the beginning of the book, it's just a book study, meaning the child does that book study when they finish reading the novel, which is the first novel that you've bought for them. So the answer to that question, you see, it's quite involved. And all of this is covered in the LATL workshop. But the simple answer is yes, you need all 4 readers, and yes, they are in the right order on the website in which they appear in the lessons. But do you need to purchase them all? That's another question, another part to that question, and that would be, you don't have to purchase them all. If you've got Much Ado About Nothing in your home library, then you don't need to buy Much Ado About Nothing, do you? Even though it might be a slightly different version, it's okay. You still got the story. The student is actually reading that book to have the literature content to then to be able to learn from that. So it doesn't have to be the exact same version. It might be that you've got a version that in the LATL student book, it says, go to page 23 in your Much Ado About Nothing book. And actually the version you've got, it's not on page 23, it's on page 20 or 27. But your student now has to find it and go back and forth. No harm in that. It's called research and seeking the answer. There goes the monkeys again. The ladies say they can't hear the monkeys. It's very disturbing. I feel like the roof is going to fall in. Okay. I hope that answers your LATL question. Jamie, did you put the link for the LATL workshop for me? Oh, good. Thank you. Jamie put the link there for the LATL workshop. If you want to go watch that, LATL should comprehensively cover that in more detail. Right, here is another question. Due to the fact that I'm not a qualified teacher, would I be able to help my child when they reach high school level? Or would we need to find tutors to help in the different fields that are not my strengths? Well, that's like about a 4-part question. Due to the fact I'm not a qualified teacher, will you a qualified parent because you gave birth to those children and you are their parent, or maybe you've adopted children, you still are their parent and you still have the responsibility to teach them. And if you're feeling you need help, I have got the place where you can go for help. It's here. You call on him and he will help you. And you can also call on Oikos, because we hope that we can help you with the years of experience that we've had and the journey we've been on, and other moms like Shirley, who's joined us there today, and Yonanza, who was there last week. All these moms that have walked a long journey, we had to help you. So if you are feeling that you're not qualified and you're not feeling equipped, well, that's one of the fears I think I covered on the top 10 fears videos. The next part is, would I be able to assist my child when they reach high school? Well, to me, I had no way that I could help my son with learning computer programming because I didn't even have a computer. So there's no way I knew where to start with that. I didn't have a computer when I was his age, or I wasn't taught about computer programming when I was in school or after I left or any such thing. So the thing is, how do I help him? This is how I would help him. I would encourage him. We would find out how to get that, how he can get that learning. I would support him in it. And if we just still hadn't found the answers we needed via those means, we would then be talking about it and saying, he's really interested in computer programming. And the next thing, we'd meet somebody that was a computer programmer. In fact, just last Saturday, we had some new people that we have been meaning to have around for a long time. They came to us for lunch, and he is a computer programmer. So just thinking of that now. But I'm just saying that when it comes to coping with higher levels of learning, there's a few things that we can assure you. First of all the Oikos resources that we provide have got a parent book with them, which means that the homeschooling, however you want to classify material resources, have been written for parents that are teaching their children at home, which means the people who wrote it are thinking, right, this person maybe doesn't feel qualified in math, so let me give the parent this. I'm thinking of Steve Demi. Let me give the parent the help that they need by giving them the parent book, writing the parent book to the parent, and then writing the student book to the student, and then I'll put the lessons on DVD as well. So you see, there's all these aids to assist the parent in helping their child to learn calculus. Now, I never did calculus when I was at school, but I've got a curriculum that's called pre-calculus and calculus, and I'm going along the journey with the student. I'm learning alongside them, and if I can't, and if it's beyond me, then I go to the Math You See website and I get extra help there, or I call on Oikos and I say, I've got a problem over here, can you support me? See, so there's nothing to fear with thinking that you're not able to help your children all the way through to adult life, because that is what this whole learning lifestyle journey is all about, is being a parent alongside them, being part of their learning, not somebody else teaching them, you teaching them. Well, I say not somebody else because Steve actually was the one that was teaching all of us at home the maths, but you know what I mean. And so, yes, there is help for you. And yes, you might look for tutors. The other part of the question, would we need to find a tutor to help in different fields? Maybe. Maybe you need to find a computer program if your son wants to do computer programming, or some other area. Let's talk on the creative side. Maybe the arts, and you don't feel very creative, and your one child is, or young adult student is wanting to pursue that. Well, the doors are either going to open to you, or you're going to find ways that will support that, that journey. Or sometimes it's something that you're not going to do intentionally either. Sometimes you need to not do the thing that the doors are not opening for you. It's just you're seeking that way. To find an answer for that particular course of learning, and the doors are just not opening to you. Well, then that also is possibly a sign that you don't need to pursue this. These monkeys, Jamie, they are making such a racket. I'm so surprised that people can't hear it. They tell me here they can't hear those monkeys. Okay, thank you, Shirley. I'm gonna read out what you've said here, Shirley. I really appreciate you being there with us today. She says, my advice would be, and I graduated 2 children now, so that her 2 daughters, all the way home educated, and now they are both adult women. Shirley says, is don't spend too much time worrying about house school. Completely concur. It's amazing how you adjust and adapt as you reach that point. Read that again. It's amazing how you adjust and adapt as you reach that point. I never thought I'd be able to cope with maths, but somehow we did. Well, because she had help, hey Shirley, and we help each other. We used a tutor for one subject, but the Lord really opened doors and provided what we needed just at the right time. It is so wonderful. I'll share this as well that Shirley has said. I want to share that my now 20-year-old thanked me a couple of months ago for the most amazing childhood. It's wonderful. She said she was grateful to have been homeschooled because she feels she has had the perfect childhood full of beautiful experiences. Now that's what matters, you see. Of course, that brought me to tears. Well, it's bringing me to tears too. What a blessing to have had that time at home and to be with them. It's really making me cry now. I just think that basically sums it up, is that that's what's valuable, that's what's precious. If I ask Shirley, now, Shirley, what's important to you about those years? Because you and I know that you've got to test me about maybe you didn't have times when you panicked about things that you didn't need to, and God reminded you, you don't need to worry about that. So right now that your daughters are now adult women, and you are sharing here what the value has been. It's this very thing that I want to really encourage the moms that are watching to just take heed. If that's what we're doing live streams for, is to remind you that that is what is important to God, is that your children, when they're adults, will turn around and say, there, what I just read, what Shirley's daughter said to her. That is what is precious. That's where the value needs to be, not in spending time worrying about their grades or their knowledge and how they're going to get it and what are you going to do about it. I just feel that these live streaming times are for this purpose, is to remind you, even if we must remind you repeatedly, to not be caught in the trap of thinking you need to be worrying about those things, because God told you not to. God told us, do not worry about that. And yet here we are worrying about it, worrying about this and that and all these details. And he says, do not worry about that. And then if we start focusing what he says he does need us to focus on, and that is in his word when he tells us, consider it pure joy when you're facing trials. So if your trial is worry and you struggling over that, then rather spend time on being obedient to what he told you to be obedient to. And then you will find that those worries are just going to melt away. And you're going to be left with this gift that Shirley's sharing with us here, where your focus and your attention will go on something else. Okay, let me see my next question. This is a longish question, this one. I'm going to just summarize on this one, because this question is saying that this mom has used a very big variety of different resources, but she's finding it's not really working. The last sentence is, why is it not working for me? And she goes into explaining that she's really tried, and then she does tests. She's been doing some assessments with the children that she's been doing this with, and she's not pleased with the results of the assessments, of where their learning is actually at. This is a big question. I'm going to see if Shirley's got anything to say about that over here on her comments. But in the meantime, Shirley, you tell us what you think about that. But what I'd like to say about that is I can't actually identify with using a variety of different things, because I never did myself. Because what I did is things came on our path that just fitted so beautifully. And all I could do was say, well, thank you, Lord, for that. Wow. Because I wasn't looking for science. And now I meet Dr. J there in America. And then he says, here, take this science back to South Africa. And then we start going through the science. I'm thinking we don't need to do this right now. And it's all about creation, and God is our creator, and just discovering more of God, and it being so profound. And then going to the Word and seeking this and finding what it is that God is important to God and what He's teaching us. That, to be honest, I didn't actually look around and add a variety of different resources. Now, I know there's there's people, there's parents out there that do that, and it's got different labels and different names of what it's called. And that's fine if that's working for them. And if they found that they can use a variety and they like that and they're happy and their children happy, it's great. Well, then great. But this question was saying it's not working for me. Let me see. I'm not laughing at that when I'm chuckling away at that. I'm just what I'm laughing about here, or chuckling about, is the fact that this mom, it seems to me, has really, really tried, and she's really tried, but she's not getting the result she wants. So I'm smiling because I'm thinking, then there is your answer, you see. Your answer is actually in the fact that it's not working. There's the answer. You've got it anyway. And what to say about, what to do about it might be a bit of a shock to your system when I answer like this, because I'm going to say, don't do anything. Don't do all those different variety of things because it's not working for you. So how about putting it all aside, not doing any of it, and then finding one that works. Now, when I say don't do anything, and then I say find something, but what I mean is it will come to you, the one, even if you only just have to spend time doing some Bible study because you know you're okay with that. Then you will find, like I found science. I didn't think I needed science. I wasn't looking for it, and it came on my path, and I started using it, and it was wonderful. So maybe you can put everything aside and just take one thing at a time. Don't do the mix up. Sure, I'm just wondering how parents actually manage that, but I suppose many do manage it. I'm just having a look in Bing Bong. Oh, right. I'm going to read Shirley's because Shirley's now there supporting this live streaming today. And as you've heard, she's got adult children as well. She says, I don't think that the answer lies in the perfect curriculum. There is no perfect curriculum. It's a trap. When you jump from curriculum to curriculum, you create learning gaps. Oh, hadn't thought of it like that. Be faithful to what the Lord has provided. I'm speaking from experience because I went through a stage where I thought the answer was in the curriculum. Nope. The answer is never in the curriculum. Oh, hang on. Please know this. The answer is not. The answer is not in the curriculum. It's damaging to fall into that mindset. Shirley, you're just supporting my thoughts here because I wanted to say that as boldly as that. The answer is not the curriculum. This is the answer. And if you don't have curriculum, you're going to be okay. But if you don't have the Lord, well, now, there is the question that should be concerning us. You need to have Him, because when you've got Him and you share Him with your children, they have everything. They have more than sufficient. They have all that they need. And the curriculum is an aid. It supports us. It helps us. I mean, I'm not throwing out the curriculum by any means, because I know how much Steve helped us, because I know how insecure I felt with maths. But then I had Steve Demi and put him in the DVD in and watched the lesson, and I learned along with the children. It was fantastic. So I value and appreciate the worth of curriculum, but it mustn't become our master, never. And if we're trying lots and lots of different curriculum and we've been totally overwhelmed and we're finding it's not working, well, then I suggest put it all aside. That's what I say. Just put it all aside and just take one at a time and see what works with your individual children. But you know what I'm also thinking about now is I'm thinking about a regular learning environment. And I'm going to take this into cooking, okay? Because if I want to make a soup and I've got 5 recipe books and they all give me different versions of sweet potato soup, well, how am I going to know which one? This one says it has cinnamon and this one says it has nutmeg. Now, should I use the cinnamon or nutmeg, or should I use both? It's going to be confusing to me to know which recipe to use. So I'd have to choose the recipe that looks like the one that's going to work for my family, because in fact one of our children can't bear the flavor or the taste or the smell of cinnamon, for example. In fact, we all love the smell and flavor of cinnamon, but I was thinking of somebody else at that moment that we made something that had cinnamon and she didn't want to eat it because it smelled like cinnamon. But so let's say you make that, you know you're not going to make that soup because you've got a guest that isn't particularly fond of cinnamon. You're not going to put cinnamon in the sweet potato soup. And so that recipe's put aside, and then you look at the next and the next. But now the trouble is you actually had 6 recipes for sweet potato soup. What if you only had one from your grandma? And that was the one you remember, and that's the one that you know. It might be that you start adapting that, and you might decide to add a little pinch of nutmeg because somebody told you that they put nutmeg in their sweet potato soup. Or maybe you saw it somewhere, or maybe you went out somewhere and you had this delicious soup and you found out the secret ingredient was a squeeze of lemon. So now you're going to try that, whatever. You see what I'm saying is that the more choices you have, the more difficult it is for you to do that. So you're not going to make 6 pots of sweet potato soup so that the 6 different individuals in your family all have a different flavor. I don't know why references to cooking, because I remember when we were in PE, the same thing happened. I was busy talking to the people and I started talking about pies, as in not eating rancid pies. You're not going to give your child a food that you know is not right and it's going to give them food poisoning. You're never going to do that. So another subject. If you want to listen to that one, it is on the videos under Oikos on the road, I think. I spoke about that. It seemed to be a theme that went through that particular day. And now it's coming back to me, this relating this curriculum with food and recipes and recipe books. Because we're parents, we're mothers, we provide for our children meals, and that's something we can relate to, I think. There we are. Shirley's saying curriculum is a tool, don't let it rule. Maybe people should put that on their wall, Shirley. Curriculum is a tool, don't let it rule. Don't let it rule. Let God be your master. Okay, so I think, you know what I think? I think that was the last question. And I think we've been here on live streaming for a while now. So let me see if there's anything else left here on our questions, because I wouldn't like to leave some questions unanswered, but I know I can't answer them all because, in fact, this live streaming has already been an hour, so I think I'm going to have to save some of the questions for next time. And I want to thank those of you who have been with me today. I want to thank you for being there. And Shirley, thank you for your input. It's very, very supportive. It'd be nice if you can join me on Fridays like you are trying to do and attempting to do. It's wonderful. And this live stream is going to be on the Oikos homepage for a while. So anybody who has been there, been able to watch for this time, if there's something that you felt was helpful, that others could be supported with, you can let them know. It will be there on the homepage until our next live stream, and then we'll replace it with the next current live streaming. Okay, so ladies, thank you. I'm going to enjoy my Rooibos. What's nice about black Rooibos is you can have it hot or cold or lukewarm or anything. Well, I can. I enjoy it whichever way it comes. So I'm going to drink this now, and thank you for being there. And I hope that I will see you next Friday on our next live streaming, and I hope I'll be there. Thank you for joining me. Oh, wait. Yunanza's there now too. Yunanza, have you been there all the time, or have you just arrived? I was wondering. But just so you know, Yunanza, I did actually cover the question about the little ones. If you weren't with us from the beginning, you asked last week about the little ones and what to tell the moms that they need, or what to advise them or suggest that they need for teaching their little ones. I hope that I've covered that well enough for you to help others. I'm sure you'll be telling them the same thing anyway. But ladies, thank you for being there. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next Friday. Bye.